Hey, TSTL listeners. I just want to talk about this episode's sponsor, author Pamela S. Thibodeaux. Known for contemporary romance and women's fiction that combines sensuality with spirituality, Pamela is now offering free audio versions of select titles just for TSTL listeners. Pamela S. Thibodeaux writes characters who face life head-on, but don't expect your typical conservative inspirational romance. Her books are steamy, gritty, and speak to the heart without guilt, condemnation, and judgment. In this day and age where understanding nuance and context is so important, Pamela's inspirational with an edge writing style can break new grounds for readers. If you're interested in learning more about Pamela S. Thibodeaux and finding out how you can get a free audiobook, head to the show notes or the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. Greetings, humans, and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast about romance novels usually $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and don't worry, I come in peace. And maybe that's because today's book takes place on Mars. Yes, to all of you Martians out there, finally there is a book that represents you as you truly are, as hot cyborgs. Today, we are reviewing the alien romance, The Cyborg Way by Honey Phillips, and I couldn't have had a better guest, an actual cyborg. I'm just kidding. No, I have a science fiction fan here as my guest today. My old friend, actor, writer, improviser Josh Simpson is here to help us figure out what is the Cyborg Way? And also, what is a cyborg? These questions and so much more were covered in our lovely discussion of this Red Planet romance, and I had so much fun chatting about a book that I think accurately predicts what the future will hold for all of us Earthlings. A future of terraforming Mars and falling in love with lonely cyborgs who patrol it. So please enjoy this review of The Cyborg Way. Oh my goodness, Josh, that's what it says. Josh Simpson, welcome to Too Stupid to Live, this podcast.
Thank you for having me. What an eye-opening experience it was doing my research.
So usually the first question I ask someone is have you ever read a romance novel before? I'm assuming no, given that your eyes were closed before this.
I've never read a full romance novel. I had a friend in K through 12 who his mom had a bunch of romance novels, so we would of course page through those and laugh as young men are expected to do. And I have dated women who liked fairy smut. Are you familiar with it? You must be. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like fae, F-A-E, like that kind of
I think like literal fairies.
Like teeny tiny, like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like cool, a fantasy.
Cool. Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, that's not outside. I'm a little familiar with that, although again, never read a full thing. More was just what is going on over there on that not physical book.
Do you recall any when you're reading a romance novel as a kid, or you're just seeing that text for the first time and you're just it's such it's your formative years? Do you recall any things that you vividly remember reading your friend's mom's books?
I wish I did. I just remember Fabio on the covers.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it was this is also a Christian household, so I don't think this got too bad. Too naughty.
We don't know.
But no, I don't remember any of the particular phrases. I wish I did. Oh man, I did have a book. What was it called? God, you just reminded me. I used to work at FedEx. This is me admitting to a crime.
Right.
You're not supposed to steal anything at FedEx.
Okay.
I was working the trucks.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to say that I heard this story from a friend. This wasn't my own personal anecdote.
This is alleged.
This is a legend.
Okay.
An alleged legend.
Exactly. Yes. You're off the hook. Don't worry.
But this person may have been working in the FedEx trucks, and a box of romance novels may have spilled open.
Mm-hmm.
and I think what was this book called? Hot and Bothered or something like that.
I've read plenty of books titled Hot and Bothered, so yeah, it makes sense.
But I just thought it was so funny, and I did take this person took a romance novel from the book, which is like a felony.
Right, yeah, because
you're stealing mail.
you stole someone's mail. You stole someone's Hot and Bothered. Oh my! Did you ever read it, or like did you give it to someone? Or did that person read it? And
I think I just thought it was funny to have on my shelf.
Yes,
but it's since that was like 20 years ago. So
right. Are you a reader? Like, do you like to read?
In theory.
Do you know? No.
I have a lot. Do I know how to read? Yeah. Totally.
Cool.
I do like to read. I don't read as much as I wished I did. I have a lot of books.
Everyone does
on the shelf that I'm like, God, I can't wait to get to that thing. I have 3 literally on the ground right now that I'm.
It's art.
2 I just bought. Yeah, 1 I'm in the middle of. Anyway.
So, like, what are some genres or like types of books that you kind of flock towards? Like, particularly ones that it's like, this is a comfort read kind of thing.
That's a good question. I do like sci-fi. I'm reading a Ursula de Le Guin book, The Dispossessed, right now, and Lathe of Heaven. I read that one. So I like her stuff. I mean, I did go through a phase where I was reading all of like Asimov and the Bradburys. That's part of the reason I chose the title we went with today. I listen to nonfiction books, so I do like audiobooks that are nonfiction because that just feels like a chore sometimes.
Yeah, it does like feel like sometimes like you're listening to a podcast and you're like getting smarter. You know what I mean? Like just to like make like cooking or laundry or something like go faster or something.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort for me to like sit down and be like, you know what? I want to hear about Abraham Lincoln's biography.
Yeah. But it's cool.
It is cool, but
you never know when you're going to be on Jeopardy, and you'll know.
Me, never. I'm not smart enough in enough fields. If I went on Jeopardy, I'd be like a contestant that was like on Ken Jennings' path to his record.
Right? Yeah. I like recently in the past couple of years have had recurring dreams where I'm on Jeopardy and like I'm like I'll like be on Jeopardy. I'll be like, how did I get here? I know nothing. Like just stress dreams, but it's Jeopardy.
A stress dream of being on TV is funny.
Yeah. What is it about science fiction that kind of like appeals to you? Like, is it kind of the world building, or is it kind of like commentary on like humanity? Like, what is it?
I think it's the world building. I think, and it's like the rules of those worlds that I like. And it's kind of interesting reading like Asimov and Ray Bradbury and stuff and seeing how, and even Le Guin, just seeing sort of like how stuff they theorized about, or even just the topics. It's not like the stuff in the books came true, but a lot of the things and the themes that they touch on remain true. And I kind of think that like it's interesting to sort of, I don't know, to sort of just, I guess, notice that, but also to sort of see how sort of certain themes and sort of humanity's issues remain the same even as we go, you know, into the future and into the worlds where a lot of the things that are talked about in those books are sort of true or not true, but the themes are still interesting to me. Yeah,
there's like the parallels. And I think even now, I mean, I don't want to get into a depressing mode, but like even now the parallels, you know, you can find them and it's just like kind of sometimes feels a little uncanny a little bit of just like that we all know this story and it's happening in real life and like we didn't learn anything, you know, like Yeah.
It is interesting. I also like, I'm trying to think of like a pleasure read. I like Vonnegut. I like reading. I'm trying to remember like, I like short stories. Anyway.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah.
I've been on. I guess if we were just talking books, I would tell you.
We can talk books. Yeah.
The best thing I read in like the past 5 years is The Dead Souls by Gogol.
Okay. Ooh.
I also like books on writing itself, and that's where I found this one. But
that's cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go.
I was just more fascinated, kind of the same idea, actually, of like, that's a book that was written in like the 1800s. That is like about some sort of like, it has a lot of like class themes and stuff like that. But it's also silly as shit.
Right.
And I found it so inspiring. It's like a cartoonish book that was written in two centuries ago in a different language, but the silliness translates, and I love it.
That's impressive. That's like, because like I think with a lot of romance novels, like silly is important. Like this is really, the book we read is really silly, and like just the fact that like, okay, like it could, like there's something about silliness that can like, you know, span generations and different barriers. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And if you can pull it off, right? I mean, if you can, it's fun. It is funny. It's like it spans generations and language.
Exactly. Yeah. the language is silliness. Is there something that you do? Like I read romance novels to like it's pure escapism, pure comfort read. It's like I'm giving, like, I have a friend who describes it as like cotton candy for your brain. Do you have something or do something that kind of is a similar, like you're escapist, this is pleasure only, you don't want to learn anything or feel sad?
I don't think it's a book.
Oh, no, not yet. It doesn't have to be reading.
Honestly, the thing that comes to mind is video games.
Yeah, of course. I think that these books kind of, I don't know anything about brains, but like I think it kind of stimulates the brain in readers in the same way that like video games does, especially with like fantasy and the fairy stuff. Like I think it's like I don't know, like the escapism of it all. I definitely think they're both stories. Video games and books are stories. It's storytelling.
Well, I play Rocket League, which is not a story.
I don't even know what that is, but I think there's a beginning, middle, and end.
That's more of just a 5-minute like dopamine hit or whatever. But I do, yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, video games for me are a total just like turning off of the brain. A lot of the stuff I work on or try to like spend my days reading or writing or whatever can be heavy. I kind of am drawn to, not to again go into the depressing mode of where we're at here, but like I do sort of dive in, I think maybe more than is healthy for a person probably.
I mean, we are in extenuating circumstances, Josh. Like we're all just trying to get by, and if we're using these as band-aids, we need to be celebrated for it.
I agree. And I could get you canceled right now by saying the wrong thing about the right person, if you know what I mean.
I mean, listen, I feel like
let's get this show canceled by the FCC.
If I was able to get this show canceled, like I honestly think my parents would be proud of me. Like I would be terrible, but I think like people like, oh, you're well known enough to be canceled. Like I'm so proud of you. And so yeah, people please cancel me.
My parents would have to switch churches.
Is there another one close by, or is it going to be like a really big inconvenience?
No, that'd be hugely inconvenient. They might have to move.
Okay, let's get to this book. Okay, and let me read a terrible synopsis. Okay, we reviewed The Cyborg Way by Honey Phillips. Okay.
Great name.
So great. I love that name. Okay. Homes for all, acres for the taken, choice lands on easy terms for you to farm and thrive. The one catch, it's on Mars. For Ellie, being a homesteader on the red planet feels as isolating as empty space. The one thing that gets her extinct volcanoes erupting again is the routine visit from L486, the tall, dark, and augmented cyborg who maintains order in the Martian deserts. L486, a soldier once known as Levi, never thought he had the capability of forming human relationships. But much like the Mars-ocean hypothesis, anything is possible when you're navigating the unknown, even when that territory is your own techno-organic heart.
Nice job.
Thank you so much.
Did you use AI for that, or did...
I used a cyborg. No, I did. Okay, I did use it I was like, I did ask AI if there were advertisements. You remember, like the Homestead Acts of the 1860s, if there were like advertisements for like, hey, come and get this land, like, and
bit.
like come to Oklahoma or wherever they homesteaded. And they did. And so AI did say yes to it, and then I found it. So it was helpful in that way, I will admit. Everything else is my own brain, though.
Good.
Also, I'm a cyborg.
As I was reading this, I was like, oh, a cyborg is, I guess, half human?
It's so interesting. Are you watching Alien Earth right now on FX?
No.
Okay. Well, like, they kind of do. It feels like there's like 3 different versions where you have robots, which are like, they don't say this in Alien Earth. This is my comprehension. You have robots, which I think Bender from Futurama, and then you have cyborgs, which I think RoboCops, and then you have synthetics, which I think like Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, and like things are synthetic. You know what I mean? So I feel like this guy's a RoboCop where he was human, had something happen, and had like it augmented kind of the skills that he and muscles or whatever that he already had, but it to a better extent or something.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. Yeah, he got hurt.
He got hurt in more ways than one.
Oh my God, it's like, it kind of makes you think like, what is he like? He is alive. Like he, do you know what I mean? Like he is like, what is sentience? And I think he is like, I feel like I've been looking at cyborgs the wrong way my whole life. You really liked the cover though. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know what I'm looking at. I guess it's just it's a muscle man with a cowboy hat and a spine, which I guess makes sense. And you know what drew me in more was just cyborgs on Mars.
Yes.
I was just like, cyborgs on Mars. Let's see it. Yeah.
And you do kind of see it. There's a lot going on, and nothing happens in this story, but there's a lot going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
So like, in terms of like world building, there are cyborgs on Mars that are kind like, they're equating it to like kind of like the Wild West. The cyborgs are there to like establish law and order as people are trying to like terraform Mars to make it more like Earth, because Earth is overcrowded.
I missed that part if that was the reason, but I guess that makes sense.
I think, yeah. Like, I think, like, I mean, it kind of like, there are a lot of like, have you noticed that there are a lot of like memories in this book? Like kind of like, they would like kind of skip back to when she was back on Earth, or like when they first met, and it was like, okay, wait, we're in reality, like what timeline are we in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did notice that. Sometimes it would, specifically one time when it went back to the mother, it was like, wait, so this, and then they came back and were like, they even said like, she realized she'd been sitting there staring into the void in the presence of her cyborg.
Right. Yeah. Like nothing is happening. Like it's those memories are happening when they're like, oh, and okay, he made his way. Like he's on his robot horse, or like she's like sipping tea, looking out. Like it's like, okay, you could see it happening, but I don't know. It's like when they talk about like they have their first meeting, I was like a little confused. I was like, but they already met, but they're meeting for the first time. But then I realized it was like a flashback.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, pretty straightforward though.
Yes. Yeah. What did you think of like kind of, you were talking about world building and like why you like science fiction. I know, like, all in all, this book to me felt like a Richard Linklater movie inside of a James Cameron movie, if that makes any sense at all. Like, yeah, it's a lot of just conversations happening inside a greater world.
Yeah, I think if this were a movie, they'd be like, do we need Mars?
Yeah, they didn't really need Mars. Like Mars had like nothing. Like, it could have been just like someone moved into the shed in the backyard and they're like fixing it up and falls in love with like a the person who lives in the regular house and is like, oh, that's the story.
Or the cop who like checks in on the shed.
Exactly.
The building inspector.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We love a building inspector romance. What, like, do you, like, if you were given the opportunity to go to Mars and like terraform Mars, would you do it? I guess is my question.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't. What's up there for me? It seems like nothing.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like there is like some, like, her house seemed pretty cool, I will say. Like they all live in these domes, and like that's pretty cool. Like she has like an indoor outdoor shower, like a little garden. Like it seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there is something nice about like starting over, cultivating your own land. I would never do it. I think in theory it's nice. I think it's terrible in reality though.
The closest I would get would be like moving to rural Wisconsin or something like that.
I thought you were gonna say Pasadena, and I was like,
I'm already pretty close to Pasadena.
Me too, yeah.
But I am eyeballing it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, one day, you know what? I'm gonna give up on this LA dream and I'm gonna head 5 miles into Pasadena. Yeah, I don't think. To be honest with you, my read on this was like, why is it so lonely there? Like, because it seemed like perhaps they gave like a built-in excuse to have the loneliest woman on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the protagonist be the loneliest woman on earth, who might be relatable to, and this is no shade, because as I told you, I play video games by myself at night. Mm-hmm. To, you know, the demographic who may be picking up this book.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I definitely think, like, not even just that her, like, circumstances being lonely, but just, like, even her as a character, like, she felt kind of like, oh, this is clearly we are all, or, like, the ideal readership, straight women, are putting themselves in this woman's, which she wasn't as, like, built out, or, like, she reminded me of like Snow White in a way, except instead of like birds that she was talking to, it was a weird alien lizard.
Yeah. The lizard, she really took to that lizard quickly.
She loved that lizard. I even wrote down, is this a love story between her and Henry, or her and the robot? I mean, come on. She really loved Henry.
I mean, she interacted with it like a person. There were parts where I was like, is this thing about to speak?
Yes, I thought so too. And that's what reminded me of like why I was like, she feels like a Disney princess, and like I feel like the most underdeveloped Disney princess is arguably Snow White. Like, like the more developed characters is like the witch and the dwarves and stuff. So like, you know, she's just, I don't know. But I also think they made her so lonely because like it is kind of weird if she had like a big family on Earth and then she just, or like, and a lot of friends, and then she like left them all behind to like live a shitty life on Mars. Like I would feel so sad for her. Yeah.
I think if I were to homestead on Mars, it would be, I'd need a buddy at least. Yes. I don't think it would be like, all right, go be a farmer and take care of chickens. It'd be like,
like I need a friend.
I'm gonna need one person to interact with. That's maybe not the cyborg cop that comes and checks on me.
Do you think, like, do you have someone in mind that would be like, yeah, or is like anyone you would take with you be a little resentful towards a couple of months in that they went to Mars with you?
Well, I'd hope my girlfriend would be. I'd hope that she would, that we could make it work. But
yeah,
also, I mean, getting into my own things here, I'm an only child. I need my alone time. I like being around one person all the time is like even in a healthy relationship, and the one I'm in now is probably the healthiest I've ever been. It is like, I do still need the moments where I'm like, I'm going to hang out by myself tonight or whatever.
Yes, I totally get that. And in their things, it's like an open dome. Like, it doesn't seem like there's partitions between rooms, you know? So it's like you are in the same room with that person.
Yeah, you can't. there's the environment. It doesn't have oxygen.
Right. Yeah, that's
so
bad.
You're
that's
a little
bad.
limited.
You are limited.
It's kind of COVID-y. Not to be.
It really is. It kind of reminded me of that, of just like, well, I mean, because like, especially with like the masks, and there was like one moment where she's like, she really didn't want to wear a mask, but she knew she should, and I was like, this feels a little.
There's like an Anthony Fauci stand-in on Mars, like, everybody, get your, what do they call them? At one point they said nanites?
Nanites, yeah. Those were like the cells in the cyborgs.
Cells in the, yeah.
Yeah. There was something very striking about this woman, though. She brings a silk robe with her to Mars. Because it makes her feel luxurious.
I did clock that.
I liked that. What is something that you would bring with you to Mars? To like, you are there to terraform. It's going to be a hard life. You're allowed one fancy schmancy thing that's legitimately fancy schmancy. That what would you bring with you?
That is a great question. My first thought, and I don't even have this.
Mine isn't. I don't have mine either.
Is like a espresso machine, like a fancy coffee thing, where I would just be like able to have a good cup of coffee on Mars. I'd run out of coffee immediately, and this is a short-sighted plan, but you know.
Doesn't matter. I said ice cream machine, or like, you know, those things where you can put frozen stuff in and it like squeeze, like that new kind of thing that you can like make your own soft serve. Make your own soft serve thing is something I would bring with me.
I didn't know about this, but I'm also a huge fan of ice cream. It's definitely my number one dessert.
Oh my God. It's like a thing where you can like take frozen fruit or whatever, but you can also put in like junk stuff too. And you like put it in, it's like a blendery thing, and then like it just like mushes it all together, and it comes out with like a soft serve. Like, do you remember Humphrey Yogurt? Like that. No. It was this amazing place it was in the valley. It was like they had these like machines where you'd be like, oh, I want cherry chocolate, this, that, and they put it in this like vat, and then they press a bunch of buttons, and like the whole room is shaking, and it's like, what is going on? But then like out comes like soft serve of like your own like flavor. I
love it. I've never had this.
It's
You're
very
opening
good.
my eyes in more ways than one with this podcast.
I'm so happy about that. Oops. Okay. So let's talk about L485 / Levi. What did you think about him?
Listen,
is he a heartthrob?
Is he a heartthrob? What did I think of him? He seemed lonelier than her, honestly. He was like more of a mushy man. He was like immediately like getting all turned on by being like, what if she was pregnant with my baby?
That's not the first thought you think when you see someone for the first time?
Yeah, not at all, actually. It's like, yeah, it's more the opposite. It's more
right.
Like, oh my God. What
if they're pregnant?
I'd be like, major turnoff. I thought he was a softie. He was a softie, which I think makes sense for the genre.
Yes. I agree. I thought he was really miserable. Like, he seemed like there was something about him. I loved him. Was what a heartthrob. We love him. Great, great guy. But like, he had like really not had given up, but like didn't even see himself as like human anymore. And like that like was like, whoa, that's like I don't know. It felt like he was in a deep place.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not human. I'm too old for her.
Right.
I am a muscular cyborg with, I believe it was described as a long bar.
Yes. He basically has like what looked like just a metal pole in between his legs that vibrates That was a headline. It does. He does vibrate.
It vibrates. She can't fit her hand around it. He
No.
can immediately. His recovery period is 0. He can just jump. I mean, that alone, I was kind of reading the book being like, so how do you do what's the procedure?
The whole time I was like, whoever, like, obviously the scientists behind this design was a woman, and I would love to read the biography of that scientist.
Yeah, he's like a big muscular man with who's built for lovemaking and wants nothing more than to instantly fall in love and be committed to a woman. And he's like, but who would want me? It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's like
Jesus.
Everyone would want you. And like, what's weird is that, like, okay, he has all these capabilities of being a great long-term partner, but yet, like, he feels like he's in a place where it's like, you're not human. You don't, like, you're not allowed to form connections. You're just here to be a ranger and like make sure everyone behaves on Mars. And it's like, but like human beings, he has all the capabilities of being an amazing partner. Like, why would someone invent a cyborg that way? You know, if they were just going to use them as like a RoboCop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a kind of a blurred line there, because there was like at one point he was, this isn't quite on point, but at one point he was like, my horse doesn't need a shelter.
Yeah,
because it's a robot. They're like, oh my God, your horse has been out here all night, and he's like, it's fine. So even he was like, we robots don't need shit. We can just park it and stare into the distance. But on the other hand, I thought this was an interesting part of, like, it almost like kind of, I don't know, maybe took away from the drama of the story a little bit, of like, he's talked about how it wasn't that uncommon for cyborg rangers to get married, or maybe not married, but to be involved and be in committed relationships. So it was sort of like, this is like Romeo and Juliet, except for there's like a ton of them. They're not
right. It's like Romeo and Juliet, and really nothing's keeping them apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In fact, there's other people in the same families. They're like, oh yeah, come on, we all dating.
Yeah. It's like, there's no Capulets, dude, or whatever the fuck. Like, you can just ask her out.
Yeah, no problemo. I guess you don't report it on your taxes, but
no. And also there was like that interesting thing of like, I'm jumping to the epilogue, but they were talking about like he can't own land because he's a cyborg, and like, oh, okay, that's like kind of interesting. It's like you make cyborgs into these like love machines, but like they can't vote or something. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I do remember that a little. I remember like he paid for it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I clocked that theme of like, oh, he's not even a human, but he must make money.
He makes money, and like the thing is, I mean, again, I don't understand cyborgs, but it just seems like he's a human but better. You know what I mean? Like he has like everything. Like he was human, and then he just got a bunch of like more stuff. Like it's like the equivalent of like if you were wearing a smartwatch. Like, are you suddenly a cyborg? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never worn one.
Neither have I. I have no idea. I'm too scared.
I'm afraid.
I don't want to be ostracized for that one. It is interesting though, because it is like, well, what is a cyborg? What, like, we are wearing headphones on our ears right now. Like, does that make us cyborgs? We use you know what I mean? Like, what? It's like it's like, you know, I don't know.
This is some.
This is some heady shit.
This is some. What was it? iRobot. Yeah.
Yes. This is Asimov. Asimov.
Sure.
Yeah, that one. I mean, honestly, I do think that this book kind of equates with that, except it does kind of make you question, like, what is sentience? What does it mean to love? What, like, is, if you're organic but have synthetic parts, like, are you still real? Except none of that happens in this book. It's just two people meeting, and I kind of loved it. I kind of love that, like, these heady things and these big things were not talked about. It was just like, I'm gonna make a picnic.
Yeah. But I am wondering, for like, because this is my first foray into the genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is the part with... I wrote some kind of note here where it's like, is the lizard part like the pizza guy part in a porno? Like, where it's like, meaning, how important is the story here? Is it just a vehicle for the smut? Or is it, I'm calling it smut. I don't even know if that's
it is
right.
smut. Yeah, no, you can say, I think it's smut. Like, I think, like, smut can be a reverent term for sensual expression. Yeah.
Like, but are people... I don't... Let's just say I've never watched a pornography movie in full. But people are reading these books in full.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's actually a weird thought. I never said that out loud. I've never watched a full...
See, I always watch till the end. I'm like, hard people worked on this. I will watch all the way through. It takes a crew.
But I guess, like, so how important is the story and the genre to the average reader, would you say? Like, do people... Yeah,
I think it's like I think it depends. Like, I think that, like, it's like there are people who get off on just watching two or more people just have sex. It's very visual. It doesn't matter who they are. You don't, just the fact that it's just like multiple bodies together feeling pleasure. But I think other people need, and this is me, need sort of like a narrative or some sort of story behind the kind of smuttiness of it all, to kind of maybe even just like, when it comes to a fantasy, like having some level of empathy with whoever's getting boned down, you know, like understanding their story and where they are. And I think because like what's really interesting is like the way that like audio erotica has kind of taken off with women, and how like they are it's so story based. I mean, that's something you don't need to, because at the end it's just like panting, but when it starts out it's like kind of like a, you know, a story of like an epic love story. And so I think that's what it is, of just like, oh, like it's not necessarily, I think it is like it's like people who need more romance with their eroticism, if that makes any sense at all.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I know that there's even like, I'm familiar with this concept, I guess. This concept. That makes me sound like a cyborg. Ah, yes. Romance with the eroticism.
But I think that like with this, what's really interesting is that, especially with this author, like I've only read one other book, and it's kind of, it takes place like on Earth, where like it's like a cute small town, and like there's orcs who live there, and there's trolls and all these different people, and it's just like, the one story I read was just a woman and her daughter, single mom, moves next into an orc, and the orc, you know, and they fall in love. Like that's it. There's no like larger like here it was like, okay, well, like Earth is overpopulated, and then there's this like kind of larger like, we have Henry the lizard, and like were they being lied to? Like there was a lot of like none of that shit matters, but like a lot of like external stuff that I'm curious if in like the next books, like is all like, if you read the next books with about the next cyborg and the next woman like together, is that going to be like an epic sci-fi thing akin to Alien Earth or something? Not that it won't be, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. The reason I asked the question about like the how important is the lizard part is just because like there was there was a moment where they were like getting into a hot and heavy scene, and then they're like, and then he saw the lizard.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then they like get sidetracked. I think this happens twice, where like you know, one time it breaks up a kiss, one time they're straight up getting down to it, and then it's like, ruh-roh, the lizard has something to say. And
lizard cockblock and lizard.
Basically. But I'm wondering if that's like I'm guessing that that's probably like a vehicle to delay the gratification of the book.
Yes.
You just want to have them railing right off the top.
Exactly. You don't want to blow the lid. I don't know what the phrase is.
It works.
But like, yeah, like it felt like there's like I was reading this book and I'm like, something is happening in this world where like they find the lizard and she's like, this is weird because Mars doesn't have any like indigenous kind of animal life. At the end, like he brings up something along the lines of like, oh, I think our presence here is making these animal life come alive or something. Again, these are 2 sentences in the book, doesn't matter. So huge if this was like any other type of thing, like if it wasn't a romance novel, if it was like a sci-fi book, like it'd be like, wait, what? Like, hold on, there's life and you're being lied to and like all of this stuff. But I think like it's kind of like like you like kind of got to tease the readers a little bit, and it's like who do we have in this world to tease the readers with? Oh, a lizard named Henry. Like who can be our apparatus to help with the tease?
Yeah,
Henry's there.
Who can rest the romance, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Mm-hmm. I feel like reading this, I was like sci-fi stuff aside, I guess that's interesting to me that like, so yeah, people want to reading this is different than like, you know, watching a pornography or something like that. Pornography? I said it so officially.
Yeah, well, you're a cyborg. That's how they say it.
I always say that. That's how I bring it up. Did anyone watch any pornography this week? So I totally get the emotional like getting inside the characters a little bit, knowing what they're feeling, sort of those feelings adding to the experience or whatever, how hot and steamy it can be. Mm-hmm. But I do still wonder why Mars, why like is that? I guess I didn't realize how far the genre had gone, or like, mm-hmm. I guess are there people that just like one kind?
Yeah,
like, I like sci-fi,
absolutely.
I like romance, therefore.
Well, it's so funny you say that because like when you said sci-fi and I started looking and I was kind of looking for something that was more like human on human, like kind of like that was like my first thing to find was just like, I don't know, like it's like 2 Star Trek people and they're humans and it's just like a funny, cute story that takes place on a spaceship. But I've noticed, and I'm one of these readers, the idea of a woman alone on a foreign planet being like out in the open, whether there's a level of like abduction or falling in love with a completely non-human male character is a very, very big thing, to the point where I think it's that kind of fantasy has surpassed kind of your more traditional, not traditional, like, but like you're more like sci-fi where it's just like a love story between 2 humans and it's the future or something. People are really into non-human, like humanoid-esque creatures, women in peril, and they like take care of them. I think that is a very big fantasy among readers.
You know what? I think I get it.
Yeah. And like I think like another thing is like there are a lot of books where it's like a woman who kind of similar to this character doesn't have a lot of connections on Earth. She's very lonely. Her friends, she has no friends, her whole family, whatever. She gets abducted from Earth and she's taken to a foreign planet. And she's like in a prison and she's auctioned off to be the bride of some warrior alien king. And like people are digging these. Like that is such a huge fantasy of just being plucked away, put in even more danger, but finding finding your true love with like the most barbaric kind of like rough, manly warrior in the multiverse.
So that story that you just described is the arranged, the king is a good guy.
He's a good guy. You think he's bad. It's like, you know, it's kind of like Beauty and the Beast in the way, except the beast is an alien and he doesn't need to turn back into a human at the end. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, there's something powerful about like this meek woman from Earth who like is someone's bride, like she had the power to tame the fiercest alien warrior in the planet of Kalukala, and you know, who could imagine? And then she becomes the queen of the planet by the end. You know, I think that's like that narrative. There's something about
I see
the power that like just being yourself and being yourself has to be able to tame something, I think, really feral and really like violent. You know, and again, this is just fantasy stuff. I think that's appealing to people.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I never really understood the fairy element of the fairy smut.
Okay. So,
but now I think I'm getting it.
Yeah. So with like the fairy stuff, like, I mean, I only read, like, there's so much out there, right? Like there's so I can only speak to the stuff that I read, but like there is it is a lot of taking of like Celtic culture of like powerful beings and like little fairies and like regular sized fairies, and like kind of like looking at like, I don't know, like kind of the rules that were in that kind of folklore, and maybe taking like a Beauty and the Beast style story and like inserting it into that kind of thing, and like making them like sexy and they can fly and like, you know, have pointy ears and they can do like magic shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I will say that when the second the second woman in my life was like, oh, I confessed that they had fairy smut, I was like, you too?
Mm-hmm. They all do. They all do.
This stuff's going around? I thought the first one was weird, but I guess this is Harry Potter in a way.
Yes. Well, honestly, that's what I think a lot of these stories, I have a feeling, started out as me, like from people who appreciated Harry Potter, and like their fantasies kind of developed from that world. Because like I think that I mean, this literally just got optioned into a movie. There's fan fiction of Hermione and the blonde guy. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
I don't know,
Slytherin?
but there's, yeah, he's a Slytherin, and he Draco is Draco.
That's probably right. I'm not the person to ask about Harry Potter stuff. I saw two of the movies out of order. Anyway.
Oh, that must have been confusing. You know, they're witches. But anyway, so it was like the main heroic woman and like the bad boy, as opposed to like who she ends up with. That is like, people have been writing fan fiction about it forever. And I think like, again, there's that desire of like being who you are and just being true to yourself ends up taming someone who is villainous or evil or vile or whatever. And I think like that's how fairy smut, there could be many reasons, but I feel like that kind of is how maybe it grew, for better or worse. Like it's like a lot of the fairy smut I read is like a woman is like, help, I'm in a scary fairyland, and then and there's that guy and he's so mean, but then she gets to the heart of him because he talks about like something, and then they fall in love, you know, and yeah.
That's funny.
It's great stuff.
Maybe now's an interesting time to mention that 1 and 2 marriages end in divorce.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm gonna change him.
Yeah, it is everything about these books. If I was like, if I was like, hey, follow the trajectory of a romance novel heroine, I'd be like, don't do any of that because you'll be insane. That's psycho. But in a book, it's fun. Yeah. In real life, it's terrible. Never do that.
That is true. You said something earlier about like I forget what it was. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were kind of talking about like, oh, he's kind of like the cyborg is sort of like I think it was in relation to him like being like, oh, I get so horny thinking of her pregnant or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in another way too, like when he's like, he almost tells her he loves her right away.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the first 2 days later.
The first time they have sex or whatever. It's like, does that make him my ideal partner? like, because for me, that would be a red flag. If someone was just like, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm like, easy.
Yes. In real life, I'd be like, I wouldn't even, he in real life, he shouldn't even go past anyone's front door. Don't let that cyborg into your house.
Yeah. And also, if you let him in for some tea, and she does, when she lets him in for some tea the first time, he immediately gets an erection.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's like teenage stuff right there.
I mean, that is like, that guy can't be in public. Like, this is like, he needs to be on some registry, like in real life. Yeah.
He enters the house and is like, oh no. And also, your cyborg powers, you can't turn that off? I mean,
right.
Then you're fully human, my man.
Thank you.
You are.
Yeah.
If you can't just be like, erection, no.
Yeah. Like, down.
Erection power down. I don't think I've ever been in that scenario where, well, maybe in high school. But, you know.
But he hasn't seen a woman that he liked in so long, you know. Like, he yearned so much. It was like the first time he's ever seen someone. So I can understand that. And I think even with, like, instead of blood, he has nanites or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, well, the nanites are just going to do what they're going to do. Like,
the
he was
nanites
kind
are
of blaming the nanites.
I didn't think about that. He was dealing with nanite issues.
Oh man, the nanites.
But that was a funny visual. I was like, if they made this a movie, I'd hope this scene had a little bit of a comedic angle to it.
It has to. If I like, and she kind of notices at one point too, of like, she was like, oh my god, he has like a robot hard on, and she's like, she's like cute.
Yeah. Oh, how about this?
Like, oh my god. And she's like, oh, he's so cute. Like, I'd be like horrified.
Like, someone needs to come get this robot. I pour water on it.
Yeah.
I was surprised he could shower. Anyway.
Yes, he could shower. They have a nice shower scene. What was did you have there wasn't a lot of sex scenes. And I will say the steam level on this for me was a little lower. You know, I've read more steam, more, you know, maybe erotic content. But did you have like a favorite like sex scene or a favorite like gesture of romance moment?
Put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked well, my favorite. I'm trying to. I liked the. It seemed like they had some familiarity, like pretty much right away.
Yes.
So it was interesting that, like, you know, I guess when when they first kind of like hook up and they don't, I guess they do have sex, but it doesn't start that way, right? They're just sort of like rubbing on each other a little bit.
Yeah. He lifts her up to like his neck or something. Like he lifts her up. Wait, is right? No, I'm wrong. I'm thinking of something else. He's like grabs her by the back of her legs and she wraps her legs around his waist, but then he goes up higher for some reason. Like he lifts her up in a way that I'm like, no human man can lift up a person like this. Their chest would explode or something.
Yeah, there was something in there, a very large bar, but I'm looking through my highlighted text.
Yes.
I highlighted the term a very large bar.
Large bar.
I forget exactly, but there was something in like how they kind of like were a little patient with it there, and then she went after they were done. She like went down on him, and I was like, sort of the psychology of that was like, I was like, that is nice.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Before they like got to it, she, I guess, was a virgin. That was my understanding, or like she hadn't been with anyone before.
Yeah, she hadn't went down on anyone before, so
yeah. But you know, she knew what she was doing. But there was like an interesting moment where they're kind of like checking in with each other, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I just want you to know that like if we do this, I won't take it lightly. Like this is going to be important for me." And she's like, "It's going to be important for me too." And then it's like that conversation. Like I thought that conversation like about consent and like what like the kind of negotiation was pretty good. But then again, I'm like, okay, Levi or L, whatever his name is, cyborg guy, he like is stating his boundaries, and which I feel like boundaries is a very human like needing to state them and needing to have them, and having them is like a very human thing, you know what I mean? And I thought that was like, that was interesting.
Yeah. He was I did think that was interesting. I actually like, I enjoyed the book more than I thought I would. But I will also say that like sometimes this was like one of the first pieces of media that I've picked up and consumed where I was like, this is a male written by a woman. And I know that goes the other way a lot, where it's like you're reading like things through the male perspective or the male gaze or whatever. But this was one where I was like, oh yeah, okay. This guy is definitely like, I wouldn't say in any objectionable way, but he's built from the heart of a woman.
100%. Well, he's just like, it was like little things of like, where like they're about to leave for the picnic, and she was like, oh wait a minute, I gotta go feed the chickens, and he's like, I'll take care of it. And I was like, that moment, I was like, okay, like that's a really sexy moment. And it's just, they're just talking about chores. And then like, I think it's like when those things are in there, like, yeah, I kind of see like, no woman wrote this.
Yeah. And that is what was eye-opening for me a little bit. And also, you know, I'm a 41-year-old man who's been in some long-term relationships in my life. I like to think that I have learned some things or gained some experience in that time. But like that moment right there where she was like, oh, he did the chore for me. And like, that was a nice thing he did. It was like, I clocked that immediately. I was like, you know, that's something I learned through experience, where it's like, if you do something nice in a relationship, like clean the kitchen or, you know, whatever. I mean, that's not even that is a chore, I guess. It's funny how, just in my experience, I've been like, oh, that goes a long way. And then to see it in this romance novel, it was like, all right, so yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it's like so funny because like, I feel like that moment, I'm imagining that moment probably sticks with a lot of readers, like more so than the fact that they were like fucking in a cave on Mars, you know, of just like, he helped her with the chickens. Like,
yeah.
But there was a lot of like kind of those smaller moments that was like, he would just like say these things of like, oh yeah, tomorrow we'll build that, or like tomorrow you and I will, like he was just like kind of adopting like, I'm in this, you know, like just with like these like kind of like smaller like just phrases, you know, of just like of planning, you know.
Yeah I noticed that. I noticed that myself. What was the other thing? A funny thing that I noticed that was like, maybe I guess again from that perspective of like a male reading a male character written by a woman, is like, I did think it was interesting that he was so big.
Huge.
I feel like that's like for all the stuff of like, oh, they feel safe with each other, and she's there's a real connection, and he's devoted, and all that kind of stuff. There's also a few moments like, damn, he's big. And she's whittle.
She's a tiny person.
She's little and curvy.
Yeah. He can reach things. Like how like that to me, I'm like, you don't need a step stool anymore. Oh my God, marry me now.
Well, as a short king, I found it offensive.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will write to the author.
I was like, here too? We're still doing this shit here. Because let me tell you.
Yeah. No, I get it. You are absolutely right. Representation is important. And
I will say that is like, I'm 5'7" with shoes on, and in my old dating profiles. It was funny to me because I was never really that self-conscious about it, since I was a short kid, but I grew a little bit in high school. I was like, I'm not short anymore. But I still am short. Anyway, it was interesting to me going on apps and stuff, like meeting I don't know, just women I didn't know. How much of a deal breaker that was. Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with, I mean, I think for me, I am shorter than most women. Like, so I wanted someone who's like maybe like a little like I never liked being with someone too tall because I was always afraid that like they're gonna think they're my dad and like and I'm a 12-year-old girl and they're like, what's that dad doing to his 12-year-old daughter? Why is he bringing her back? Yeah. And so when people be like, oh my God, don't you like aren't you really into like tall people? And I'm like, I never got it personally. When I read this though, like I am picturing like Andre the Giant and like, you know, the like and a person just who's like a normal height. Like this guy, like I'm not picturing just like a guy with muscles. Like he's like, this is like this is a wrestler. You know what I mean? It's like
you see his back on the cover. He's a big boy.
And it's like, this is like, and it's almost like no normal person looks like this versus, oh, just like normal people who like, I want them tall. You know what I mean? It's just like beyond, it's like she's dating a cardboard cutout, you know, and it's like.
You're making me realize that my version of this, like what would be like my version of a romance novel that would like maybe work on me is like a funny runt getting noticed by like a, I don't know, a beautiful cyborg cop.
Exactly. Well, first of all, they exist. There's it is really interesting. Like, again, I read these all the time. Looking at like indie authors who just like kind of have fun and they write and they upload it and they write like just the variety and like the diversity and like the level of stories of like, yeah, there's nerd romance and then there is stand-up comedy romance, which I won't read, but I understand other people will.
Yeah, you don't need that.
There is improv romance again.
No way.
Yeah, I read one and you know, it was kind of enough. But yeah, even just like Hollywood, like there's like all like every community has like a romance, it feels like, and every like kind of archetype of person has a romance, even though like, yeah, these cyborg wrestler types are kind of dominating and outweighing the other types, but the other types exist, I guess, is the point. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're not in this very romantic novel where they're having emotional connections. It's still like, and he's big. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
I went to a Bumble match that was we were like hitting it off in the conversation, and then she found out that I was only 1 inch taller than her, and it was dead.
I mean, that's just shitty. Like, I mean, like that to me, like it's just like she like. That's something where it's like, okay, that is some insecurity that someone else has going on. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I just like feel like, oh, there's this pressure or whatever, but like, that's just like a shitty thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it is like an honest, I think it for some women is like a real thing of like, they're like, sorry, I'm not going to date a guy that's my size or like just attracted to bigger guys. And I'm not making this a sob story about me.
Of course
I don't really care. But but another time I had this friend who I lived next to. This isn't like the other story where it's not about me. If that makes this is really. I had a tall friend. He was at the time where we were hanging out. We were both very active alcoholics. And he was like worse than me. Like he was drinking 40s in the day.
Right.
And like not showering as much. He went to the grocery store and picked up, and he's just a tall, dirty dude, but he picked up a beautiful woman at the grocery store who like approached him, and he's like 6'4". And I was like, that is tall man privilege right there.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely think there is like there's certainly a privilege that like people have like we all have like our own like subjective versions of like, oh, you are worth me going up to in a grocery store and like winning me over. I still think though that like full on shutting down a conversation because of that, like I don't know, that to me,
yeah,
I'm like,
that's
shitty
right.
person. I'm a shitty person.
Well, it didn't work out. So
yeah. She comes in like my wife. Like,
We got through it.
Oh,
I just
good.
wear
See?
nice tall shoes.
You are a cyborg and you got leg enhancements or whatever.
I wish.
Okay. Do you have any final thoughts? Any other things about this book that you wanted to share that you didn't get a chance to?
I will say, there wasn't. Well, I have two things.
Yes.
At one point, he just, like, when they first started making love, he goes, responsive little bird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he just starts calling her Bird.
Yes.
I thought that was weird.
Having a pet name is a very common thing in romance novels. Like, I think, like, calling someone, like, my little lamb, or that's a big one. That's a really popular one. Or, like, my little moth, or, you know, whatever. This little bird thing I didn't like because I feel like that's what they called Sansa in Game of Thrones, and she was a child, and that made me uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't want to do little bird. We can't do birds. No little birds.
It's like a British thing, right? Like, birds
like,
at the bar. I don't even. That was
not
a good English
I guess.
accent.
But I just like picture like a jolly old like little bird, come here, Grandpa's home, and then like a little girl. Like it's too infantilizing for me.
Yeah, it seemed like a big swing for me. If I was like first time with somebody, just be like, you know what, I'm gonna drop a pet name now.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
I highlighted that.
I thought it was. I mean, I understand where it came from, because I did like that moment prior where he notices her bed is unmade, and like he's like, "Oh, she's human, messy. I love it." And he says, like, "This is part of your nest." So like it came from a genuine place, but just like, yeah, no, you should learn my last name before you give me a pet name. Like, that's just like science.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I wanted to point out was just that, because you sent me the Kindle version of this, right?
Yes, I did.
I don't have Amazon Prime anymore.
Smart.
When I need to use Amazon, I use my parents' account. And
oh, good.
I will just say that getting this Kindle book, I did log out of my parents' account. I did not. I was a little infantilized myself, I guess, because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put the Cyborg Way, men up where cyborgs on Mars, in my dad's shopping cart.
He doesn't want to read it. He doesn't.
I didn't even want him to get the notification. Just be like, what is Josh up to?
Yeah, like,
I know he's looking for jobs, right? But now
I think he's becoming a cyborg.
He's really killing some time. Which also brings me to, like,
yes,
the days before the Kindle must have been a wild time for romance novels. The Kindle must have been a game changer, right?
Oh, I think 100%. I think it's like, honestly, like, I think, like, just having met writers or people who like are trying to kind of break into the romance world, like, Kindle and Kindle Unlimited is so essential to success, because like it's first of all, with Kindle Direct Publishing, it's become such a gateway that it's like, it's kind of like, like, I think for a lot of authors, as bad as Amazon is, I think for a lot of authors, it's like, why, like, it'd be not smart to not use Kindle as a means to get eyes on your books, you know, because it's just like, people are reading books a day, you know, and like, and especially with romance, and so many people
I read a book today.
Yeah, exactly. You read a book a day. Yeah, that's just like most romance readers. And so like, it's almost like, oh, having a product, like, so it's like you having a product and Target being like, we'll sell your product at every store in the United States, and you being like, oh, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's like, who else is going to see, like, no one else is going to see it. And so it is kind of interesting to see how, like, it's good and bad. Like, you know, you can get access to new writers. Like, I wouldn't have known about like any of these genres if it wasn't for Amazon Kindle, but at the same time, it's terrible. And it's also like such an opportunity for so many people. So you are between, I think a lot of people are in between I certainly am, between a rock and a hard place.
Well, yeah. I didn't even mean like the Amazon part of it, but like, I mean, like, like the difference between if all of these books were available in Target to buy, like you'd have to get the book with this crazy cover and march up to the cashier. I guess you could do self-checkout. But I guess what I was thinking is like there are some books I've read in my life where I'm like, you know what? We're actually not going to get the physical copy of this because I don't want to be on an airplane with this book.
Like, I get that. Like, to me, and I don't know if I should be institutionalized for it. I find it hilarious. Like, I find it so funny I read a monster romance on the plane next to my mom this summer coming back, and it was like really silly, and I thought it was I find it so funny, and like I don't know if like I should be arrested for it or something. Like there's some like boundaries crossed, but like because what you'll notice is like someone will be like, I read that, or someone will be like, what are they reading, and they'll buy it eventually. I don't know. Like there's just more people than you think. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, let the freak flag fly. It's not even a freak flag, but
yeah,
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine there would be some people who are self-conscious about buying the book in person, reading it in public. So I imagine the Kindle is good for.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why 50 Shades of Grey was as popular as it was because of the Kindle, and you could just people were reading it, and like that. I think that's definitely why like the genre in general has like blossomed and ballooned.
I remember I was on an airplane once, and there was a woman reading on her Kindle, and I clocked that she was reading something naughty by her like physicality. So she was just like,
oh yeah.
like just like this, and I did get a peek, and it was 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like,
yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, the first time I ever read a romance novel was on an airplane, like a romance novel with like explicit sex on it. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was something else, and I like started to read it, and I was like ducked behind the book, but I was like, I need to keep reading it, and like I was like, does everyone know my cheeks are red right now? And, and it was interesting because they sold it at the airport bookstore. So I was like, if Hudson News or whatever is selling it, then I have every right to read this in front of a bunch of strangers.
I think you do. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I guess I just have an inert. No, that's not the right word. I have a Christian guilt that will live with me for the rest of my life, even though I'm no
Jewish
longer
and I have it
practicing.
too.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, we all got it.
We all have our weird like stuff that we're hung up on. If it makes you feel any better, I have a niece, and my parents wanted to one time put all of our iPhone accounts together. So when the niece was born, we would like all get pictures of her, So all of our like Apple accounts got combined somehow, and I was interested in an audio erotica app, and I downloaded it and got a subscription, and then like I saw my dad a few weeks later, and he was like, did someone like download some sort of app on Apple? And I was like, and I was like, because like before I was like, to my brother, I was like, if I downloaded an app, like Dad won't see it, right? Because it's on my phone. He's like, no, you should be fine. And then my dad was like, who downloaded this app? It was like a $60 subscription. And I and I told him that, I mean, they know the full story now, but I told him that I was doing it for research for a for a project I was working on. I was like, it's for a writing thing. I don't know, but it was full on audio smut, and my dad paid for it.
Hey, that sounds like a good system to me.
I mean, I have since downloaded 5 more. No, I'm just kidding. I divorced my family. I'm not part of it anymore. But
it's kind of like doing your taxes. You're like, this counts as a write-off, right? This is for writing.
Yeah,
this is for entertainment business.
Exactly. Like some people even see it as like health. It's for health. Self-care.
It's for getting horny in the afternoon.
Exactly. What else are we gonna do?
Get horny in the night?
No, that's
in the morning
for boring people. Okay. I'm gonna ask for your overall rating. So we are gonna rate based on dick nanites because he's talking about those nanites in his dick a lot. I'm going to say 1 out of 5 Dick Nanites means you didn't like it. 5 out of 5 means you loved it. Rate it based on how much you enjoyed reading it. Because I know that you obviously haven't, like you've only read snippets before. So
I would say like 3.5.
Mm-hmm. That's a good score.
Yeah, not so bad. I mean, I'm not comparing it to, my favorite books of all time. I'm sort of like comparing it to like I'm putting it in its genre, what it's trying to be,
Yes.
But I did enjoy it, and I like I said, it was eye opening in some ways to like see the things that like, appeal to the demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly might say, I actually thought the writing wasn't bad,
Mm-hmm.
and to my other point, I would say I think that maybe straight men, like in college or after, should all pick up one of these books and read it and get to know what the women's want. Not to put them all under the same umbrella, but I'm sure it could be illuminating to people who are like, I hump fast. That's good.
I think you're onto something there. I think you're right. Like it is like, okay, yeah, you can't like put everyone under like one umbrella like you said, but like, okay, these books are about like patience and communication and respect. Like those, whether it's important to know, those are important skills to have, for anyone of any gender, of any age, really. I actually feel like I really enjoyed this a lot more than I expected. I'm giving it 4 Dick Nanites. I would give it 5 because I just wanted more sex, but I understand why there wasn't more sex because it was a short book that you read in a day, and it can't just be whatever. I will say I am going to compare it to the Foundation trilogy and say it's on par with that series. I really think this is no, I'm just kidding. But I will say it is kind of nice, like when I do on occasion watch something that's like epic sci-fi, like Foundation or Alien Earth. Sometimes you'll see a side character in the corner of the screen and I'll be like, what's their story? And their story doesn't matter. But I feel like this book is their story. It can be their story. It's just a simple love story that happens to take place here. And so I give it 4 out of 5.
Nice. Dick Nanites.
Dick Nanites. Yeah. Who would have thought? Well, Josh, thank you so much for being a guest. This was so much fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. I was like, oh, I got to read a book, but then I was like, oh, it's going to be great. And it was fun and illuminating. And I appreciate your appreciation for this whole genre, like that you're taking it seriously.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. And thank you. Honestly, it is a lot. I do feel bad asking people to read books. So thank you for reading a book.
You're welcome.
I owe you.
It was my
I owe you
duty.
a book.
I'm gonna put it on Goodreads. I bet add it to my tally.
Why not? I had mine.
If I could read the normal books I read in an hour, I'd be cruising through books.
I know. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's just like what Levi has learned.
It's the undertaking. Mm-hmm. I saw that movie Black Bag. Do you ever see that?
No.
The Steven Soderbergh movie. It's 94 minutes long. I left that movie being like, all movies should be 94 minutes long. Yes. That was so considerate.
Yes.
To give me a story in 94 minutes that was fun and satisfying and no fat and like I was like, damn, that is a skill.
I agree. And I even agree like with books. Like there was a new orc porn book that came out. I obviously had to read it. It was 600 pages. I loved every page. Could it have been 400? Absolutely.
600.
I know it was so many. It was a lot. It took me forever to finish it.
That's very funny.
Okay. Before we stop, where can we find you? Do you want to promote anything? That whole thing? Yeah.
I'm at Josh Simpson on Instagram and TikTok, although I don't really post on there. Yeah, I haven't really been making anything on those particular accounts.
Yeah, no one has.
And then I also make sketches for the NFL on Fox for the romance enthusiasts who are watching the pregame show for NFL football. Check me out. It's usually like in the half hour before the games start. Pretty fun.
Awesome.
That's what I'm up to.
Very cool. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for checking out Too Stupid to Live today. This is Becky Feldman, and I hope you have an inorganically orgasmic rest of your day. For links to the book that we reviewed today, be sure to check out the show notes or visit the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. Too Stupid to Live participates in affiliate marketing programs, including Amazon Associates. The podcast may collect a small commission if consumers purchase items by clicking on certain links shared on the show notes, episode page, and other social networking platforms. This is at no cost to the consumer, and all commissions go to supporting TSTL. Hey, TSTL listeners! Are you an indie author with a book to promote? An artist or designer trying to sell bookish swag? Are you a book talk influencer in need of more followers to do your influencing? Well, TSTL would love to help you out. Hi, I'm Becky. I'm the host of Too Stupid to Live, and I love building new connections with the bookish and sexual health communities, whether it's for sponsorships at amazingly reasonable and negotiable rates, or guest and topic ideas for TSTL's Extra Spice and Hot as Hell episodes. So if you want to hook up, visit tstlpodcast.com/contact, or you can email the show at tstlpod@gmail.com.